The only way you're going to grow in life is if you do things that make you, I'm not saying jump off a bridge, free fall, whatever, but you have to do things you haven't done before. Really should be replaced with, and he'll say it, my 8-year-old son, he will say, I don't know how yet. That's it. What you feel doesn't make anything true. Let me add to that. There is nothing out here that is good or bad. It's how you think about it that makes it good or bad. A drifter is someone that doesn't have a concrete vision of where they want to go and how to get there. Most people are failing and they don't even know. And not only do they not even know, they don't know why. Hey guys, and welcome to the Real Estate Doctor podcast, where I am here to inspire, educate, and entertain you. Today, I want to inspire you. Today, I want to talk about why most people are failing and they don't even know. And not only do they not even know, they don't know why. And why is that? 98% of the population is what Napoleon Hill described in Outwitting the Devil as drifters. And what is a drifter? A drifter is someone that doesn't have a concrete vision of where they want to go and how to get there, right? So a lot of times I talk to people, and first thing I ask them, if you want to hire me as a coach, you know, I'm interviewing you. And if I ask you what your goals are and you have none, then guess what? You're a drifter. You're just kind of drifting around. And not only are you a drifter, you don't know what is causing you to do what you do every day. You might think you know, but what is causing you to do what you're doing every day are your feelings and your emotions. And you are being driven by how you feel and whatever emotion that comes with that. And now, what a lot of people don't know, and, you know, I'm not saying I'm an expert on Neanderthals or, you know, the history of the human race, is, you know, we weren't meant to be doing what we are doing. We have evolved, but we are still primal in the sense that we are always looking for what is wrong. That is what when we were in caves and we were scared of saber-toothed tigers, we had to have senses and intuition and look for what was wrong. And we still have that. So we are naturally always looking for what is wrong and never what is right. And that's part of the problem. And that's part of the problem why you're attracted to bad news and not great news. If they did a documentary on Mother Teresa, nobody would pay attention. But if they showed you that Trump was under criminal investigation, everybody's going to watch. There's tons of amazing things happening in the world every day. And yet I hear all the time, like, oh man, the world's going to crap. You know, the world has never been better than it is today. And that's true. If you understand history, we are killing it. But nobody feels like they're killing that because you're out there looking for what is wrong. And when you're looking for, you don't even know that you're looking for what is wrong. And when you're out there looking for what is wrong, you know, you're always going to find what's wrong. So let's talk about what is wrong and what you're feeling, right? So a lot of times people have anxiety about what might happen, right? Well, 90% of the time, what might happen does not happen. So it really is a complete waste of your time to even think about what might happen. And now, what might happen is even worse than that. We are so creative that we turn, you know, hey, my wife didn't talk to me today, tomorrow into my wife disrespected me, to the next day, my wife is cheating on me, and we create these crazy stories in our heads, right? This is nonsense. And a lot of us are not aware this is even happening. So how do you break these molds? One of the things that's very important, and you may hear this and might think it's some kind of like, you know, hippie thing, but awareness. Awareness is the key. Just being aware of how you feel is the key. So first off, if you're wondering about this crazy thing that could happen in a year that you made up in your head, just being aware that, hey, why do I feel like this? Oh, okay, because I'm thinking about that. But you know what? We don't know that that's ever going to happen. Should I think about that? And let me go back a little bit. 90% of what you think about or worry about never happens, and 10% that does happen isn't as bad as you think it is. These are like proven things. There's a line I heard somewhere is, I'd rather die, we're all dying of 1,000 cuts instead of just one at the end. Because we're killing ourselves every day, slice, 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 worrying about this is going to happen, worried about this is going to happen. I got to give my dad a little shout out. He passed away about 10 years ago, but, my mom was, I gave her a shout out here, and my mom, she was overprotective, and she was worried about every possible thing when I was a teenager that I could do. And my dad, in his, I'll call it infinite wisdom, used to be like, well, listen, I'm not wasting any energy on that until it happens. You want to sit there and worry and drive around and try to spy on him, good with that. Until he gets arrested, I'm not worried about it. So don't waste your energy. Now, it's easier said than done because you're not aware that you're even doing this. You are being attracted. Your emotions are driving what you're doing. And if you don't feel right, you are accepting the fact, most people, that something's wrong. But that doesn't mean anything is wrong. Like, you're not some, amazing person that you can tell, like, whoa, you know what? I don't feel right. Something's wrong on earth. This is not the truth. Your feelings are not facts. It's just a fact that you have feelings. That's it. What you feel doesn't make anything true, And let me add to that. There is nothing out here that is good or bad. It's how you think about it that makes it good or bad. So I want you to get in the mindset that, A, I need to be aware that I'm feeling a certain way, right? And if you're aware that you're feeling a certain way, you will digest and you'll contemplate why. And I do this all the time. I'm not like, I'm human. My mind is looking for what's negative, and I immediately go, hey, what am I even thinking about that for? What? I have 10 great things sitting right in front of me, but yet I'm thinking about something that could happen in 7 months that isn't good. And I know, because I'm human just like you, you're probably doing the same thing. But I'm aware I'm doing it, and I reconcile, like, okay, should I really be thinking about that? No. Now, listen, we all have these days where, you're not feeling it, and you shouldn't let how you feel leak into how you're being. What that means is, if I feel like, and listen, we all have things, I just don't feel right. But I'm not going to come in here and not tell you this is the best day of my life. I'm going to be who I decided to be. I am in control. I decided that this is going to be the best day of my life. Doesn't matter how I feel. That's how I'm going to operate, A lot of people are letting their feelings, without knowing, because they are not aware, drive them all day. And, you just feel bad. You're going to have a bad day, So I wrote some things down here. Let me just talk a little bit here. Let me just make sure I don't miss anything. I went on a nice little run there here. Oh, okay. So I didn't talk about, let's say I'm feeling crappy, right? Well, what do you do when you're feeling crappy? What you don't do is resist the fact that you don't, like, let's say I have anxiety about something, right? You don't resist the anxiety. If you resist it, it will persist, right? It's like this in anything. Let it be. It's supposed to tell you, like, your emotions and feelings are supposed to be like your senses that, like, let me think about that thing, right? Let it be. And sometimes you don't know what it is. If you feel sad, let yourself be sad. Say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to let myself be sad. I'm going to temporarily feel the emotion of sadness, right? And I promise you, if you stop resisting it, it will just pass. All of these things pass. A lot of times when we sleep, what we don't know is that our body is our mind is actually going through how that day went, but without emotion. And you wake up the next day and you feel better, but it's because your mind is doing a process. I just said something that is very, I wanted to switch the mode right there, but feelings. So a lot of people don't do this. Another thing that you're basically killing yourself with is your words. Now, I talk about this all the time, but let me talk about feelings and your words. So don't say anything negative that starts with I am. So like, I am anxious. I am hungry. I am sad. You are not. The power of I am is ridiculous. You are not anxiety. Are you the feeling of anxiety? No. You are temporarily feeling the emotion of anxiety. So mind your words and think about it. It's okay to feel anxious, but let it come and let it go, and understand that it comes and it goes. It doesn't stay with you forever. Nothing stays forever. We're all growing. We're all changing. These emotions are supposed to be quick. Boom. Now, quick could be 2 hours, could be 8 hours, but they're not going to last. You're not going to be anxious full-time, 24/7 for 30 days. It's not going to happen. It's impossible, right? And I promise you, if you would just let it be and be aware of it, it'll go. All right. Words. So, listen, you're failing because you use the word can't. Anybody that uses the word can't, you can't. You already defeated yourself. In my house, one of the things I'm super proud of, and maybe it's a little, I feel a little bad about it, that, if my son comes out and I go, Liam, what's the only word in this house you are not allowed to say? And Liam will tell you, it's can't, because really can't should be replaced with, and he'll say it, my 8-year-old son, he will say, I don't know how yet. That's it. There is no can't. There's nothing that cannot be done on this earth. My kids have grilled me on it. Well, Daddy, can we fly to the moon? And yes, we can. We just don't know how yet. Anything that ever exists, this computer that's on my desk, this microphone, we couldn't talk in microphones and on YouTube and on podcasts with computers until somebody figured out how. But if you start with it can't be done, it can't be done. You're already defeated. I'll give you a little story about my son was in a soccer tournament, and he's on the second tier of his team. So there's like National 1 and National 2. And National must be good because National 2 got to the quarterfinals and they had to play National 1. And so they got to like the playoffs of this day. And the National kids, which my son was in, were literally, some of them, crying. Oh, we can't beat National 1. They're the good ones that are with us. Now, they had gone and beat every other team. Every other team's won. But they had this mental block that they could not possibly beat the National 1. So I told my son, listen, sit down on the bench. There's no sense in even playing this game. You already lost, right? Now, I don't expect an 8-year-old to understand what I just said. And I found motivation to get them all to play. I basically told them I heard National 1, saying they were afraid we can't lose the National 2, yada, yada, yada. But that really didn't happen. But that motivated the National 2 team to be like, wow, they think that we can beat them. And they didn't win, but they played their hearts out, But think about it for you. How many times have you just given up before you started? You're never going to fail in life. Never. First off, none of us are failures. You were not born a failure. Don't let some past story of what happened in your life for you predict your future. A lot of people say, well, I'm 42 and, I went from this job to this job and I'm just not making it and Tommy's doing great. And first off, Tommy's not doing as great as you think Tommy is doing. There's a lot of people, especially in the United States, there's a lot of people out there faking it and never make it, right? So, what you did in your past has nothing to do with your future, has nothing to do. It's only, they're lessons for you to learn. And without those lessons, you can't progress in life. So the only time that you can affect your future is now, followed by now, and now. Really, there is no other time but now. So every day is a day that you can change your future. But a lot of us are thinking about the past and worrying about the past. Now, there's a great, I don't want to get religious on people, but there's a great prayer. I'm Catholic, and there's a great prayer called the Serenity Prayer. And in that prayer, you ask, for serenity to accept the things you cannot change, which, how much wisdom is that? Anything that happened in the past, you can't change it, right? So you need to accept it and not dwell on it. It will not affect anything. The next line in that is you have to have the courage to change the things you can. That's today. That's now. And what is courage? A lot of people don't know what courage, the definition of courage is. Courage is being afraid and doing it anyway. So that means, if you're afraid, first off, let's go back to what I was talking about. Let's be aware. Hey, I'm afraid. Why am I afraid? I'm afraid because I'm doing something I never did before. Everybody's always fearful of things that, they're not sure of. Uncertainty, right? The only way you're going to grow in life is if you do things that make you, I'm not saying jump off a bridge, free fall, whatever, but you have to do things you haven't done before, and those will be fearful, and you will feel. Now, what is fear? It could be excitement. Like this, feeling fear is also exciting. So you're just changing the word to an emotion. Is it the same emotion? You just gave it a negative side of it. Tangent. But my point is, it's okay to feel fear. Courage is doing it anyway. And you know what? If you're not feeling that, you're not doing anything in life. If you don't want to have problems and you don't want to feel fear and uncertainty, then just go get a 9-to-5 job, go home, and Netflix and chill. And you'll be good, You might not make $1 million or $1 billion or whatever, but if that makes you happy, then do that. I promise you will have less problems than I have, and many people that are really, super successful. A lot of people think super successful people don't have problems. They have more problems than you do, and those problems are bigger than you, are bigger than the problems that you would imagine they are. They're not bigger than you. But that's how we grow. We grow from hitting a problem and then learning from it. I don't like to use the word problem. Opportunity, challenge, right? Words. So don't be afraid to grow. Don't be afraid to be fearful. Let me see here if I can. Nothing is the end of the world. So this one might be funny to some people. I mean, I don't know. Everybody, you watch the news, you do this. I said earlier, this is not the worst time in history. This is the best time in history. The world has been way worse, and we have all been in way worse situations, right? It's not the end of the world. Don't believe what the news is telling you. Look in front of you. There are so many things in front of you to be grateful. I don't care where you are in your life. I've been bankrupt. I've been close to bankrupt. I've been super, super successful. I've made millions and millions of dollars, all that stuff, right? I don't care where you are in that quest. Nothing is the end of the world. You will always, all things shall pass. And that is true. And things pass. And so do feelings. Let them pass. Time passes, feeling passes, situation pass if they're not positive situations. So it's not the end of the world. You just need to grow. Always need to grow. All right. Let me go back to why you're failing. The key is be aware. Be aware of what you're doing. You know, you decide, this is the key. Be aware that your emotions and your feelings are driving you, and you need to decide that you're going to take the steering wheel of your life and you're going to direct it. You're not going to let your emotions and feelings direct you. And I promise you, if you go, you know what? Hold on. Why am I feeling this way? Now I'm feeling this way. Now I'm treating people this way. Now you're not going to get the results that you can get. Like, nobody wants to be around somebody that's always, you know, a negative feeling, you know, or in a bad mood. People want to be around vibrant, happy people that bring energy to their life. And what I'm telling you is, I'm not every day vibrant and happy, but I am being vibrant and happy every day, regardless of how I feel. And that attracts other people to me. You know, people want to be around people that have good energy, you know. So the key for you to be successful is to grab the steering wheel of your life. You decide what you're thinking about. You don't have to think about those crazy things that could happen, because they might not happen. You decide that, hey, I'm really grateful that I'm alive today, and then I have these 10 opportunities, and I'm really focused on being grateful that I have healthy children and healthy this and healthy that. And if you grab that steering wheel and you decide what you're thinking about every day, then you won't be a drifter. I'll end this in talking about this book, Outwitting the Devil. In Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, the devil, figuratively, or some people say figuratively, will say, had a conversation. He's being interviewed, and he says, I cannot, basically, you can manipulate everybody. I mean, and it's easy, and he's laughing, he's explaining how easy it is and how easy people are just wandering around and how he can manipulate them. And he says, for those that have concrete goals and a concrete way to attain them and will not waver, I can't mess with them. They're the 2% that drive me crazy. So be the 2% that drive the devil crazy. Take the wheel of your life and take control. Have the best day of your life.